Hey guys, and welcome back to Higurashi. Maybe the finale? I don't actually know how long it is, so I think this is the last chapter. Even Keiichi said himself that he thinks he's probably gonna die soon, and I agree. So I don't want to talk too much for the intro, because I have a feeling this is gonna be a long episode, because I kind of want to finish it off. And it'll be a clean finish if we end it off on a Friday episode, so that's nice. But again, if it's like over 2 hours, then I probably won't finish it. But just quickly, last episode we went to school and Keiichi confronted Mion, basically told her he knew a lot of stuff, or he thought he knew. He told her his assumptions, and some of them were right. Obviously, like it kind of does confirm that Mion was somewhat involved with the damn murder, kind of, just from her reactions, anyways. And then Mion kind of freaked out and cursed not Obayashi, Uishi. Who's Obayashi? Is he even a character? I don't know. Uishi, and which also reveals that they sort of have a past. And that's basically all that happened, if we cut it short. But yeah, now Keiichi's walking home with his bat, so at least he's armed. And let's see what's happening. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once. Oops. As if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sound of footsteps was almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back the creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, I needed to be razor sharp. I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly among the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No, since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I had hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Rena, just like yesterday? If it was Rena, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. If it wasn't Rena? It would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants, and readjusted the grip on the bat. I could tell that the fear that I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. Oh, it is Rena. I thought it was Uishi for some reason. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Rena. Look at that face. That's a oddly, weird kind of smug face from Rena. There was a bit of relief as I realized it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Rena I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand, oh, I didn't even notice that, was a hatchet. Yeah, she did own one of those when we were saving Colonel Randy. You know, the good old days before all this stuff went down. I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing. There are tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat. But for that hatchet? There was no excuse for that. Well, I mean, I swear in the past, Keiichi even said that it's not too unusual to carry a hatchet in, a rural area. But I get it. He's freaking out. A hatchet? Just like that. heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, a cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Well, at least this is sort of like evidence you can give to Uishi and call him, saying, someone's trying to kill me with a hatchet. Not that I trust Uishi, but I think it's like semi-confirmed that even though Uishi might be evil, at least he's not working with the villagers, so maybe he would help. Maybe, at least. Not good, not good, not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here.
レナを驚かせようとしたのかな。
Tana. Still adorable, though. I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Rena to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readying myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. Like, I mean, a bat might help, but I don't know how alternate, like, spooky evil Rena, how like strong she is. Like, is she comparable to cute mode Rena, who can like beat anyone, or is she like, hopefully she's weaker, or it's over already. There's no point of fighting. Whoa, there we go. That laugh.
ケイチくん、見つけた。
Rena was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes, they were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Ugh, not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of vicious, hot, cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all of the organs in my body. Not good, not good. I'll be devoured by Rena at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose.
何の用だよ
I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Rena didn't flinch one bit.
ケイチくんと同じ。帰り道だよ。
じゃあそのナタは何だよ
じゃあケイチくんのそのバットは何なのかな。
俺は素振りで
じゃあレナは宝探しなの。
Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon.
宝探し
ダム現場の宝の山にね、また新しいかいいのを見つけたの。だからね、それを発掘するために必要なの。
信じるかよそんなの
信じないよね。
That laugh. Oh my god, that's crazy. Rena's laugh was obviously very strange. I'd seen Rena transform many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious.
待ってよケイチくん。
Rena didn't stop watching, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Rena got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her, the cycle repeated over and over. Oh, train, blessing us. Thank you, train. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Rena and was trying to escape.
ついてくるなよ
それはできない相談だよ。レナのうちもこっちだもん。
That's so creepy. When I met with Rena on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands. But today was different. Rena didn't show a hint of trepidation. Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? If the way home for Rena and me was the same, that's fine. I just changed my route. That'd work out, wouldn't it? I turned onto a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. But Rena saw me do that and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Then just go home down the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? I don't think going down a side road's smart. Keiichi. Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth.
どうしてついてくるんだよ。
ケイイチ君とお話ししたいから。
The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror.
ケイイチ君とお話ししたいから。ケイイチ君もレナとお話ししたいんじゃないかな。
俺は何も話したいことなんかない。
嘘だよね。相談したいこときっとあるはずだよ。
ない。
Oh my god.
レナと話すことなんか何もないよ。
嘘だよね。
嘘じゃないよ。
Lies! I thought that. Yep. Third time that's happened, right? Rena screamed echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only other thing I could do was increase my pace.
お話ししようよ、ケイイチ君。お話。
Another train. Perfect. Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street? Come down like that fast. Ruining the tension. Kinda. Still spooked.
ケイイチ君には悩んでることがあるんじゃないかな。
ないよ。何も悩んでない。
嘘だ。
Even though I was running, even though Rena was walking, why wasn't I getting any farther away?
わかるよ。わかる。レナはわかるよ。怖いんだよね、ケイイチ君。
怖くなんかない。何も怖いことなんか。
嘘だ。
My breathing grew heavy. My breathing grew heavy, and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat.
レナだけは相談に乗ってあげられるよ。今度こそ乗ってあげられる。
I had no idea what she was talking about, or what exactly she wanted to do.
今度こそ相談に乗ってあげられる。サトシ君の時とは違うもの。
When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop.
サトシ君も悩んでた。辛そうだった。でもレナは相談に乗ってあげられなかった。とても悲しかった。
Where did the street connect to? All these twists and turns, ups and downs. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction towards my house. My sense of direction had long since gone out the window.
サトシ君が転校しちゃった時ね、本当に後悔したんだよ。レナが相談に乗ってあげれば、サトシ君は転校せずに済んだかもしれないって、すごく後悔した。
The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly
だ
calm.
からね、誓ったの。もしもサトシ君みたいに苦しんでる人にもう一度会えたなら、レナが助けてあげようって。もう人が転校するところは見たくないな。
Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi.
さあ、ケイイチ君、レナに話して。
Well, I think she's trying to. But she says she's trying to make you not transfer out, so it's obviously something different.
レナはきっとケイイチ君を理解してあげられるよ。レナだけはケイイチ君の味方。
I started wheezing out of breath. My lungs were so hot that it felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating so hard as as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swing. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought.
悩みがなくなればきっとケイイチ君も元通り。 みんなとも仲良しに戻れて、また楽しく部活ができるよ。今度は一緒に組んでみーちゃんをやっつけようね。
Yeah, how much fun that would be. Rena couldn't even imagine how much I wish I could turn back the clock on these past few days.
レナともきっと仲良しに戻れるよ。また一緒に宝探しに行きたいね。今度はお弁当も作っていくよ。なんなら今から宝探しでもいいよ。行こうよ、一緒にダム現場。見つけたばかりのかわいいの、ケイチくんにも見せてあげるね。きっとケイチくんも気に入るよ。
Loving the laugh. It's pretty great. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think of what the end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me and I crumbled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was so cool and composed that she could have frozen the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all, rather. I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating.
何が怖いのかな。怯えるなんてケイチくんらしくないよ。
Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. If she admonished me for trembling, Rena's hands definitely slipped over her head. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I were staring at the godliness of the thousand-horned Buddha. Then as both of her hands met above her head, the hatchet she held came into focus. I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do.
教えてくれ。サトシはどうなったんだよ。
Rena stayed like that, with the hatchet raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions.
言ったよ。サトシくんは転校したの。
その転校ってのをやめろよ。鬼隠しってことなんだろ。そうだろ。もう教えてくれたっていいだろ。サトシを消したのは誰だよ。レナかミオンか、それとも村の誰かが。答えろよ。
I became frantic the more I screamed. I became frantic the more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face.
ケイチくんが何を言ってるか。
じゃあ分かるように言ってやる。連続開始事件の犯人は誰だ。
ケイチくんは勘違いしてるよ。
え？
人間の犯人なんかいない。
I remember this sound effect from Umineko.
すべてはお社様が決めることだもの。
お社様のたたりなんて迷信だろ。レナは信じてるってのか。
信じるとか信じないとかじゃない。お社様はいるの。
Rena's gaze grew even more gilded. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything.
お社様なんているわけが。
ケイチくんは信じないの？お社様。
信じられるはずないだろ。そんなのいるわけがない。
いるよ、お社様。ケイチくんだって身近に感じてるはずだよ。
そんなもの感じたことないよ。
圭一くんさ、誰かに謝られたことない？それもずっと。
All noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded, loudly and terribly.
それはね、許してもらえるまでずっとついてくるの。学校へも、お家へも、枕元へも。
I couldn't understand what Rena was saying.
レナのところへも来たんだよ、お社様。だからレナは転校してひなみ沢に帰ってきたの。
I don't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? What was Rena
圭
saying?
一くんのところにも、お社様。きっと相談に乗れるのは私だけ。圭一くんを転校なんかさせないから。ね。
Rena's demented laugh claimed around inside my head. Was Rena saying Oyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I heard about that when I asked about Rena.
他言無用でお願いします。また内容には一部憶測も含まれているかもしれません。すべてが真実ではないかもしれないということです。よろしいですね。
Uishi-san began speaking.
被害者も学校も告訴していないので、調書がないのです。つまり、警察が関与してないわけなんですよ。ですから、詳細は関係者からの聞き取りのみなのです。つまり、信憑性が高くない。
被害者って言いましたか？レナはガラスを割っただけじゃないんですか？
いえ、男子生徒が3人ほど竜宮レナに殴られています。金属バットでです。2人はあざで済みましたが、1人は片目に後遺症を残すほどの大怪我をしたそうです。
それって傷害事件じゃないんですか？警察は逮捕とかしないんですか？
どういうわけか、被害者が告発しないんですよ。警察に届け出がないので。
They were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally there would be a criminal investigation. But why? Didn't they press charges?
被害者の男子生徒3人にもそれぞれ話を聞こうとしましたが、全員口が重いんです。こう言ってはなんですが、怯えてるんですよ。彼女が転校した今でも。
大石さん、話を最初から整理して話してくれませんか？
Rena hit people while she broke the windows? Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different.
某月某日、竜宮レナは親しい男子生徒3人と一緒にプール倉庫のあたりで話をしていました。
その3人って何者ですか？
個人名は伏せますが、3人とも竜宮レナととても親しい仲良しグループだったそうです。彼女はこう言ってんだったんですな。
So it wasn't that strange that the four of them were together.
それでどうなったんです？
理由はわかりません。竜宮レナはプール倉庫脇にあった野球部のバットを手に取り、3人を次々に殴り倒しました。
There are no witnesses. This was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Rena and 3 male students were at the cold storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At that time, Rena underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after the other. Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their heads, she made her way towards the school building. Then she broke the glass windows, one after the other. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on the scene and subdued her.
レナに起こった変化って何ですか？
3人の証言で一致するのは、突然人が変わった、表変したという点です。
表変。
I also could recall Rena's transformation. I'd seen that change many times before. It was so different from the usual Rena that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Rena.
その表変っていうのはたびたびあったことなんですか？
いえ、そういうのは全くなかったそうです。私も調べられる限り、彼女の過去や病歴等を追ってみましたが、見つけることはできませんでした。
そのレナみたいに突然人が変わる現象って結構あるんですか？
もちろんありますよ。精神的なものから性格的なものまでたくさんあります。
ではレナには潜在的に表変する要素があったってことですか？
断言はできません。ですが、竜宮レナをよく知る友人たちからの証言では、とても彼女にそういう要素があるようには思えません。
Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that was Rena, even now.
そしてどうなったんですか
Yikes, I'm trying to close the window even though it's kind of hot. So many trains right now.
学校の正面が病院でしたので、3人はすぐに病院に担ぎ込まれ、手当てを受けました。
レナは警察はどうして警察沙汰にならなかったんですか？
警察は呼ばれなければ関与はできませんからね。
一人は後遺症を残すくらい大怪我したんじゃないんですか？どうして訴えないんです？
私もそこは引っかかりました。何かの圧力、もしくは脅迫があったのか、それとも訴えたくても訴えられない理由があったのか。
もちろん大石さんのことですから調べたんですよね。
ねえ、まあですが、初めに言いましたよね。被害者たちの口がとにかく重いのです。触れたがらないというか、関わりたくないというか。
Reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here in Oyashiro-sama's curse.
学校の先生とかからは何も聞けなかったんですか？
学校は聖域なんですよ。隠蔽体質とでも言いますか。私も捜査令状を取ってませんから弱いんですよね。
じゃあ学校側はノーコメント？
いえ、事件の存在自体を否定しました。ですが某日、間違いなく病院に3人の男子生徒が打撲で担ぎ込まれたのは事実なんです。病院にその記録が残ってますので。
被害者は語らず学校は否定する。何もわからないじゃないですか。
ねえ、その事件があったという事実以上のことは何もわかりません。被害者たちもこの事件が公になることを望んでいませんので、私と前原さん、私たち2人が忘れれば事件はそのまま闇に消えるでしょうな。
For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by roiling waves, sinking quietly into the void, as if it never existed to begin
その
with.
後、学校を謹慎で休学します。そしてその間、神経科医のカウンセリングを受けました。
その医者からは何か聞けたんですか？
これがまた職業倫理のしっかりした尊敬すべき方でしてね。口が硬いんですよ。
Honestly,
とにかく
like I said, I'm off with Oishi. I think he's evil, so I'm pretty much taking everything he says with a grain of salt.
警察手帳を見せてもダメなんですか？
書面で申請しろと言われました。手帳自体に法的拘束力は何もありませんからね。
Like, I believe this incident happened, but I'm pretty sure Uishi's keeping a lot of the information to himself.
じゃあ 大石さんはどうやってレナがお社様のことを告白したことを知ったんですか？
一部を聞いてた看護師さんがいましてね。この方は手帳を見せただけで協力してくださいました。
それでなんと？
Turns out the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently all that she remembered was that what she overheard from inside the
看
room.
護師さんが言うには、その時の竜宮レナはとても淡々としていて落ち着いていたそうです。
It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than a counseling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through, her mother was asked to leave, so it became a private counseling session between just the doctor and Rena for a while.
例のお社様の話はどこで出てきたんですか？
途中です。その名前を突然叫んだのです。だから看護師さんもびっくりして聞き耳を立てたのです。
Rena suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what she said before that, so I had no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor calmly and collectedly asked Rena to have a seat.
そのお社様というのは何ですか？
Gently, ever so gently. A fundamental part of counseling is to be a good patient listener.
ひなみ沢を捨てた人は必ずお社様に追われるんです。そしてとうとう私のところにも来たんです。
竜宮さんが今のお家に引っ越される前に住んでいた町ですね。
私は引っ越したくなかったけど、お母さんとお父さんの都合で仕方なく引っ越しました。でもお社様は許してくれなかったんです。
竜宮さんはきっとひなみ沢にもお友達がたくさんいたんでしょうね。今でも懐かしいんじゃないですか？
帰りたい。ひなみ沢に帰りたい。帰りたいんじゃない。帰らなきゃいけない。本当はもっと早くに帰らなきゃいけなかった。でももうダメ。お社様が来てしまった。
お社様というのはそのひなみ沢の神様なんですね。
誰でも知ってるひなみ沢の守り神様なんです。それでひなみ沢を捨てて出て行こうとすると罰を当てるんです。
竜宮さんが引っ越しをされたのはもうずいぶん前ですよね。では今になってその神様がやってきた。
信じないでしょうけど、お社様はいるんです。
That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered.
お社様がか。
確かにひなみ沢にはそういう迷信があります。里を捨てて出ていくとお社様の罰が当たる。この辺りは前原さんもすでにご存知ですよね。
I knew very well what those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Satoko's parents, supporters and leading advocates for the dam, were cursed to their deaths. But this was the first time I've heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village.
初耳です。村の外敵がたたられるのはわかりますが、どうして出ていく村人まで。普通出ていくものはたたられないものじゃないんですか？
I know it's a bit strange to say it, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Uishi-san pondered for a bit over on the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again.
ひなみ沢が大昔鬼ヶ淵と呼ばれていたという話はしましたよね。
I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of ogres.
ふもとの村人たちは鬼たちを崇めていました。で、鬼ヶ淵は神聖な土地なので絶対に不可侵。むやみに立ち入るとお社様のたたりがあるとされてきたんです。
Oh, those who set foot in Onikakushi, in other words, Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand
それ
that.
はわかります。でも出ていくのまでダメってのは
鬼たちもまたですね。属性に出ていかないようお社様に厳しく見張られていたんだとか。つまりお社様っていうのは属性と鬼ヶ淵の交流を禁じていたんでしょうな。
I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Oyashiro-sama was.
つまりお社様ってのは守り神ってよりも監視者なんですね。この地を外界から隔離しようとする。
そんな感じになるんでしょうな。すみません。私も詳しくないんです。この辺りはばあ様の受け売りでして。
I tried to understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So, because Rena originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed.
つまりレナは望まない引っ越しをしたためお社様のたたりにあったと、そう話しているわけですか。
要約するとそういう意味なんでしょうな。実際この後しばらくしてhinamizawaに引っ越していますから。
Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed. But then, why only Rena? Shouldn't Rena's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and have been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, it would be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one disappearing on the day of the Watanagashi. I don't like saying at most though.
まあとにかくわからないことだらけなんですよ。お社様のたたりがどうだったにせよ、クラスメートを金属バットで殴った理由にはなりませんし、まさか前原さんも恐ろしいたたりが起こって被害者たちがすくみ上がったなんてこと信じるわけないですよね。
I want to know what the heated argument was about with the friends. That would probably shine a light on something. Of course, I didn't want to believe it. But more importantly, I had just realized something else. There's another bizarre connection that Rena made between Oyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. That's true, right? 3 of them, and they're all kind of cursed. I mean, Rena might be like past cursed. Then Rena as well. She was affected by Oyashiro-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. And the weapon of which she had used at the time of that horrendous act was again a metal bat. And finally me. I'd encountered various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding onto a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. Had the same thing happened to Rena? But there was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. That being, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Rena was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse, yet they were met with different endings. And finally me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Rena, Satoshi, and finally me. Could it be that I was really under Oyashiro-sama's curse right now? No, more importantly than that, what should I do now? Satoshi had been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Rena was fine. Rena had undergone a change. I could only believe that there was something that wasn't Rena residing within her. And here, right now, it was standing before me.
レナ、教えてくれ。俺はどうなるんだよ。
Rena stood imposingly, not answering.
サトシは消えた。
That noise in my
だけどレ
ears.
ナは消えなかった。
Yikes.
じゃあ俺はどうなるんだよ。
I had never heard such an unpleasant laugh before. It had become akin to the sound of her breathing. It was no longer a voice or an expression of feeling.
大丈夫だよ。レナが助けてあげるから。
Rena took one step forward, still holding the hatchet high above her head.
さあ、
One step closer, Rena's face spread out to fill my vision.
話して。
One step closer. Rena's nose was close enough to touch mine, and was still pushing closer.
話したいことがあるんだよね。レナが聞いてあげる。助けてあげるから。ね。話してね。話してね。
I slumped down, landing squarely on my butt. It wasn't for some pathetic reason. It was all I could do to get as far away from Rena. I had the gut feeling that I couldn't let her laughter end, because when that laughing ended, the moment I picked up on that feeling, my body moved by instinct. I sprang to my feet so fast, even I couldn't believe it, and pushed Rena away with both hands. Rena was as light as a feather. Thrown about by the unbalanced weight of the hatchet, she was sent backwards, as if she had been carried off by the wind. After confirming that out of the corner of my eye, I dashed off at full speed. I was the perfect picture of fleeing like a grease pig. Get away from Rena. Run away. Survive. I couldn't think of anything other than this. While I was running, I remembered I'd been holding onto a bat this entire time. Such a worthless weapon. I couldn't believe I'd forgotten about this weapon at such an important time. I sped even farther down the winding path. I didn't even feel myself gasping for breath or my legs getting heavy. My body understood it as well. If I didn't run away from here, I wouldn't live. I could hear the laughter of that simulacrum of Rena coming from behind me. It rang through the trees and in my head, and slowly chiseled away at my sanity. Higurashi at the dam? God damn. Unlucky. The grove of the trees thinned out, my field of vision suddenly expanding. Where was this? For a moment I was bewildered by the scenery. I felt I knew but couldn't quite remember. I quickly realized it was the dam site. The fact that I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles in my legs were screaming, but I didn't care. If I stopped here, they might not even be able to scream for much longer. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Rena wasn't there. Instead, I saw two villagers walking around. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Rena, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once again. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in and of themselves, but it bothered me. They both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression that they were just out for a walk. But at this time of the day, two adults wandering around without a purpose was enough to raise questions. But more than anything else, those eyes. It's me on eyes. Oh! Yates, I pressed it. They weren't chit-chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forward, looking in my direction. Was I at the end of my rope and finally started imagining things? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. If they were part of the group after me, they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried up, Rena would catch up with me. That's right, I was going to run. Deciding that, the moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me, as if they knew exactly what I was thinking. Jesus. Somewhere inside me, I had jumped off to the conclusion that Rena was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't fear anything else. I mean, I think it's safe to say that Rena's actually more of a third party, or a separate party, and the village is trying to get Kiichi's also. Is a different party from Rena. I think Rena's just trying to kill you, while the villagers are trying to do something else to you. Whatever transfer means. Quote-unquote transfer. I made the assumption that I didn't need fear anything else. I didn't need fear anything else. But right now, I just realized how blatantly wrong I was. Suddenly, the story Uishi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind. I could tell they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frenetic footsteps. It was frightening, being unable to shake Rena off as she slowly closed on me, but this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, this straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuer's arms grazed my shoulder. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also the distinct sound of their breathing that I could hear. No. Excuse me. Maybe I should take a drink. No. I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. I turned my head back slightly, in that frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult. In less than the time it would take to blink twice, when this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me. On top of me, and then... Don't think about that, Keiichi. First, realize that you won't be able to shake them off like this. In fact, that you can't get away was a given. Then you need to make a decision. Go with the right leg or go with the left. You need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right. Left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm. Using that inertia, I stopped with sudden spun? And suddenly spun. The two of them were clearly startled. Momentarily losing sight of me, both of their outstretched arms ready to grab me, instead grasped at empty space. The man on the right, I applauded him being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been, and faced me in astonishment. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arms as I turned around. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seemed like it had enough power behind it to knock him off his feet. But just knocking him down wasn't good enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. Both of them took a fighting stance and were ready to face me. This made me certain they weren't just two people out for a walk. They were clearly after me. It felt much easier than dealing with Rena. Just by not recognizing their faces, but not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside. It's fine if it was just a bluff. By barking out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me, with unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. One of them would grab onto my bat, and the other would hold me down. Was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. Hot sweat poured from every pore in my body. Then I just have to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. Narrowing my target down to the man on the right, who had already been knocked down before, I stepped in and swung with all my might. There's no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. If they blocked it with their arm, their bone would snap like a twig. If they turned their back to it, it would be possible to blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us and delivered a fist right into my gut. Not good. With this distance, in this position, and in this state, there's no way for me to dodge it. The world flipped upside down. I understood that I was being tossed around like a rag doll. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling the grainy soil press against my face. It didn't hurt at all. But the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin, as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with bitter sensation. I knew very well that I didn't have time to relish this experience. I stood up as quickly as I could, but at that moment, the other man was already barreling towards me. Being able to comprehend calmly that I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After plowing into my stomach full force once again, my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arms around my neck. My throat felt like it was being crushed by his immense strength. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled or that I was about to go unconscious. My vision simply darkened, and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my head. It took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more than likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel that he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off me, I couldn't run, I couldn't fight back. Dire straits. I couldn't even come up with a phrase that adequately described my situation. Rip? Rip? Chapter break? Break time? I think my voice is actually giving up a bit. I don't really want to stop though. We'll keep going. I said I'd finish it. A familiar ceiling. The smell of the bed and pillows. I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When I did that, pain shot throughout my entire body.
大丈夫かな？横になってた方がいいと思うよ。
Why was Rena in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries, but Rena's smile belonged to the Rena I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed thinking that this version of Rena was safe.
俺はどうして
覚えてないの？
意識がなくなってからのことは全然。
My body has become more lethargic than I could ever had imagined. I guess that would be the expected outcome after exerting everything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my head, but I couldn't shake the sluggish feeling out of my mind.
一応お医者さんにも電話したから、もうすぐ来ると思うよ。それまで横になってた方がいいと思うな。
I wasn't injured seriously enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing that someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring.
俺どうしてここにいるんだ？確かダム現場で。
それはレナが聞きたいな。何があったのかな？レナが行った時にはケイチ君倒れてて。
だから聞きたいのは俺の方だよ。変な二人組に襲われて。
As I talked about it, I finally remembered what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear right up. Let's forget about those two for now. I didn't expect Rena to be nursing me. I thought Rena was trying to kill me. She should have had the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health.
よく俺を引きずってここまで来れたな。重かったろ。
Looking at Rena's delicate frame, I was hard to believe that she had not only gotten me back home, but even dragged me all the way up to the second floor. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take a break, but since I did say I want to finish it this Friday, so I'm gonna maybe upload 2 episodes on the same day. It'll be a finale marathon, alright? But like I said, my voice is literally giving up right now, so there's no point in me reading. I'm just gonna take like a quick break, get some tea maybe, and come back to it. So thank you for watching. The video should like be uploaded like right after each other. So yeah, see you like in a couple of minutes if you're